Roll20 game. We're using the Vampire 20th Edition rules. I am the storyteller. My name is Matthew. This game has actually been going on a couple of months already, but we've gone through some revisions. Players dropped out, players dropped in, and we've been keeping with a storyline of Seattle 2016 Modern Nights. Why don't we have our host introduce himself next? Give your name and who you're playing.
Oh, my name's Isaac. My character is a Tremere by the name of Dayon Smythe. Walter?
Hi, my character is Walter Wades. He's a follower of SEP, who has been accepted by the Camarilla Court in Seattle, and currently worms his way into all sorts of trouble.
James?
Well, James, as he just said, I am playing Merle Clemens, the Hell's Angel Cater. Yes. Out to survive another night. And of course, going by that by playing with the underside of the spine city.
And Eric?
I'm Alex. I am playing a gangrel named Eric Winters, sociopathic veterinarian who kind of is playing along with this ragtag group because he is newly sired and does not want to stop his hunt.
And we have one other player who's running a little late. Okay. Just doing a small accounting here. Should we be waiting for Francis?
He appears to be online, but has not entered the chat. So,
Said he needs to get his computer. I don't necessarily want to start everything without him.
Well, we could always pause for 15 or so and just chat while we wait. He said he wouldn't be too long.
yeah. Should be on any minute now, according to his previous estimate.
I'll just recap a little bit of what happened last session.
That sounds like a good idea.
We introduced a court of the vampires. They were renting out the Sky Lodge, which is the meeting hall or large space that's in the middle of the Space Needle in Seattle Center. This was where all of the various different kindred had to take the elevator up to the about 5 stories up to the large area. It's a Sky Lounge. Has windows over the city. It was a kindred-only event, and we got to have the prince show up, introduce, of course, Eric Winters, the new gangrel, as well as the brand new character Francis brought in, Theo. The coterie met Theo earlier that evening in their domain of Georgetown. They witnessed a couple of course politics and discussions with characters, and also witnessed one of the Malkavians who misbehaved and was using disciplines in the court in the Elysium. And after about that time is when we ended and wrapped up the session. Some of the kindred, including the prince, has already left at this point, but there's still a number of them hanging out or mingling after the main court has ended at the Sky Lounge. Was there any questions or anything, or?
We had somebody led out one of the Malkavians. I did not write in my notes who that was.
Roman, the sire of Betsy Diamond, the one that was stripped of status for her, has taken her out of the event. So Roman, the primogen of Clan Malkavian, which I will display. Is that displaying for you guys?
Nothing popped
Roman's
up.
not displaying for me.
I do have them, so I'm just pulling them up like right now.
Okay. Just put that in my notes.
And the one that was his childer is Betsy Diamond.
And to recall, Betsy was stripped of her status for using a discipline in Elysium to inflame the temper of the sheriff, Trent Hollister.
That is correct, yes.
All right.
We lost him.
I'm having an issue with this, so... I'm also trying to mute the stream so I don't have an echo.
I pulled the stream up on the laptop and the Discord audio out on my phone, and then muted the laptop. I don't know if that's an option available to you.
You can mute it. You should be able to.
Yeah, I muted I have the stream going, so I just muted it so I'm not getting an echo of it.
Okay.
Just Roll20 seems to be a little fickle today.
It likes doing that sometimes. Let's see. Dane will go over to the others in that case.
Yeah, so we're going to say Frank probably on his way shortly. But we're going to, as I said, a couple of kindred, including the prince, and the Ventru primogen has left. The Malkavian primogen was also left with his child after that disgrace.
Did you mention the decree of requirement for Theo's acceptance into the court?
Oh yes, that's something that I will remind people that Theo is a Ravnos, which are not a member of the Camarilla. The prince has given Theo 5 days to get the approval of 2 primogen who will take responsibility if he were to misbehave or take any kind of problem. They would be somewhat responsible, or at least would look bad on them. So unless 2 primogen accept him within those 5 days, he will be told to leave the city.
So we've just witnessed this scene, correct? Presumably Theo is in a corner considering his options. Dion is approaching the 3 of us, Eric, Merle, and Walter, who are in a group.
Sure, that works pretty well.
Evening, gentlemen.
So, what a show they put on there.
That's one way you could put it.
So, think we should get talking to some of the primogens here. We get that sorted out.
Well, Theo should, though I doubt he'd turn down our assistance.
Yeah, never hurts to have somebody owing you a favor.
It's worthwhile to gain such things. You never know when they'll come in handy.
A favor for a friend, if you will. However, he seems preoccupied at the moment, so perhaps we should leave him to his thoughts and offer our assistance later. For now, and Walter will turn to Eric. You'll have to forgive the excitement at the court. It's not usually this interesting.
I just shrug, and Eric will shrug and just. I'm used to many crowds. It comes with the work.
Really? Does that come from your previous line of work, or?
Previous and current.
What is that, if you don't mind me asking?
Veterinarian, actually.
Quite an interesting trade for one of this club. How do you maintain your practice?
Well, I've been on sick leave, waiting to figure out what to do. Since I'm still newly sired, I've been getting streetwise, you could say.
Either you're going to have to find a different line of work, or you'll have to get a night job.
Well, it is my own private practice. I did consider moving to a 24-hour facility.
Storyteller.
Yes.
Is Elsa Walker still in the court?
Yes. Elsa and the other harpies are presently definitely in the court, talking with one another.
I'll sort of point Elsa out to Eric and mention that I believe Elsa, in a previous time, used to own a pet store. She might have some insight into your dilemma.
Eric, if you do turn to Elsa, she's actually a fairly attractive redhead, presently wearing a blue dress. She is standing, of course, with the two harpies, Isabel and Imogen. And you would recognize her as a pet store owner. As far as you know, she still owns the pet store. She doesn't seem to stay at the store very often, as you.
Oh, yes, I recognize her. We've actually done calls for her in the past. It's interesting. It seems that most people with animals seem to be part of the nightlife around here.
Well,
very odd considering the usual animal's aversion to our kind. Or, well, I suppose not your kind.
outside of Ventru, blood, for most of us, blood is blood. True, the human is much more preferable, but do not underestimate animals for keeping yourself alive. Or dead, however you want to phrase it.
I see we have a Francis has joined us.
Hello. Hello.
Hey,
Does somebody want to get me up to speed, please?
Talking, waiting for you.
We
Yeah.
just began. Just doing a little bit of roleplay still on the Sky Lounge.
Okay.
And it's shortly after some of the Primogen have the Malkavian Primogen and his childer Betsy have been chastised for using disciplines in the Elysium, and they have both left, so it's not too long after that. Of course, the Prince himself has also been left with the Ventru Pact.
Okay.
I'm going to step away from my mic for 10 seconds. I have cat aggro.
Oh, okay.
What Primogen are left in the room?
Thaddeus Orn is still there. Lloyd, Talia White, and
So that's
Cassandra.
Tremere, Nosferatu, Toreador, and
Ruha.
Bruja. Noted.
Well, Walter, didn't you have some dealings with the Miss?
Which miss?
Talia.
Indeed, at some point. Before I get to my my own business, though, Theo, and I'll catch his attention, and for the sake of him in on some details of who each of the 4 remaining Primogen are, and what they and which clans they represent, as a sort of assistance to him.
Right.
Pointing out Talia.
The 4 Primogen, just I'm going to give a quick synopsis of what I know about them and what clans they represent, and I'll let you actually summarize that, since you know you can do that better than I can.
Yeah, he would summarize that Talia White, who is a slightly curvy woman. She's fairly young looking, but she dresses in a very slightly old-fashioned style. Presently does have a feather boa with her. Fairly fashionable, though, still. Is the Primogen of Clan Bruja. Is very grateful and intelligent. Very forceful when she needs to be for her clan. She's often with her chowder, although presently she doesn't have any of them there with her at the moment.
Okay.
The next Primogen that he would point out, of course, which one I believe you may have talked to before, is Cassandra. Very beautiful woman, of course, with elegant voice. She is a little bit older looking, but still graceful, beautiful singer and performer. She is presently dressed in red. Definitely has herself dolled up, and is staying mostly with most of the other troubadours, Gabriel and a couple of others, not too far from the Harpies also.
Okay.
Thaddeus is Tremere. He is dressed in a fine suit. He is presently talking with the sheriff, Samuel, as well as Zach, the keeper of Elysium.
I thought Samuel was the Scourge.
Samuel is the Scourge, but he's talking with the keeper of Elysium, Zach Winthrop.
Gotcha.
And the last one to mention, staying not too close to the windows, is Loy, the Nosferatu Primogen. Loy is sort of a street person, kind of. He doesn't dress up a lot. He's very resourceful, though, knows the underworld, knows the dirty corners of Seattle. Definitely a friendly type for the most part, but like any Nosferatu, is not the cleanest. Okay.
Still loading on my screen.
Is it not showing up?
It's just loading.
Yeah, I don't have any bio info loaded for him either.
That's weird.
Roll 20 like...
Roll 20 is being weird today.
It's always being weird.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the same thing. It's just loading, but it was working for everyone else.
Huh. That's fine.
I mean, you can still do it if need be. You know, just roll dice in the...
I'd like to find Nikolai, or Walter would like to find Nikolai Kraus if Nikolai is still here.
Yes, Nikolai Kraus is still attending.
Just to refresh, he raised some points to the prince earlier about some concerns he had. To refresh those points exactly, he wanted to check a better voice for some of the lesser clans, as we have many of various affiliations throughout the city, but no representative for them.
Nikolai was a part of the conversation, but the main person who was pointing out
that was Curtis.
Was actually Curtis Hunter, one of the Bruja.
Got it. My apologies. I misremembered who was leader.
No,
is Curtis still there?
Curtis is getting ready to leave, but yes, he's still there.
I'd like to catch him on the way out, but that conversation can wait.
Certainly. Who would you like to... You wave them down?
Yeah, I'd like to wave him down, and I'm going to sort of ask if I could speak to him away from others. I'd like to express my my thoughts on his cause.
Certainly. You approach forward. He's, as I said, he's about getting ready to get his coat. He said his goodbye to his partner Talia and is about to head out towards the elevator. When you catch him?
Yeah, Curtis. An interest you raised today at court.
He eyes towards Trent, the sheriff, who's still stewing over in one of the other corners of the room. But he's like, yeah, not everyone seemed to agree with it, but then of course that ruckus happened with the Malkavian.
Well, all things considered, it's unsurprising that many here would disagree, but I think you'll find that a lot of us find a lot of common cause with what you had to say. I, for one, would like to offer my my own assistance in your task. I think that we do need a voice for those who are not affiliated with the large clans.
He sort of smiles to you and says, well, maybe we should talk about that outside of court.
My thoughts exactly. But before you left, I just wanted to catch you to perhaps arrange that discussion for the future.
Yeah, when's it good for you?
Fairly flexible.
Tomorrow night?
That would work for me. I can alter my schedule accordingly. Say 10?
Where at?
Do you remember the last time we met?
Yeah, back down in Ballard. We could meet at the Billiard House.
Yes, that sounds a fine idea. They've got nice quiet corners and good entertainment.
All right, very good. He offers a handshake.
I shake his hand. I look forward to it. Good evening, I guess.
He enjoy the rest of your night, and he will
as well. And I'll walk away and just sort of like hug a corner.
Let's pause for a minute. What's going through your head, Walter?
Right now, Walter's thinking that Curtis is absolutely right. That one thing that he's noticed, especially being an outsider from a non-Camarilla affiliated clan himself, is that there are a lot of people in the Camarilla of Seattle who they're not of the seven. There's Merle, a Kaitif. There's a Ravnos, there's a Setite, there's some Sombra Hunt tribute, there's just tons of people who just kind of have this melting pot, and nobody to speak for them, yet they still play a powerful role in the way the city shapes up and how it acts and works. So somebody should actually speak for them, speak for the little guy.
Right, very cool.
It's something he's irritated he didn't think of himself.
All right, Dan will head over to Trent.
All right, Trent is right now on his. Amelia's not too far from him, but he's on his own at the moment. Sort of just relaxing at the moment near one of the windows.
My deepest sympathies for what happened to you earlier.
He turns over to you. Trent is a bit taller than you are, of course. Dark-skinned, dressed right now in a sort of casual suit, but definitely you can tell that the sheriff is not necessarily he's not necessarily the most dangerous person at the moment, but it wouldn't take much to spark him into something much more threatening. But here in the court, he says, he just sort of waves a hand at you. She paid the price for it.
Well, yes. But if you ever suspect that there's another kind messing with you, feel free to talk to Clan Tremere. We can probably counteract or trace down the source.
Yeah. If I think that somebody's using that kind of stuff on us, well, I'll turn to you. Sure.
All right. Oh, I hope you have a
Dion,
pleasant evening.
Right?
Yes.
You're at U District? Or are you hanging out down in the slums?
I'm part of that current domain that recently opened.
Trent just sort of glances over towards Merle and I'm presuming Theo, maybe probably even Eric, and just looks back at you.
Dan just smiles back. Don't worry, I'll do my best to keep them under and behaved.
Yeah, well, I haven't had any problems with you as of yet.
And I am to keep it that way.
He sort of gives you a slight salute and turns back to look out the window.
And if you need any assistance with any enforcement, feel free to contact me personally. Have a good evening.
He nods back to you. And once again, what's going through Dion's head?
Dion's head, basically, well, he's starting to get the message. Hopefully he'll start using my services, and then that's going to help a lot.
All right. What's James doing? Merle.
Yeah, Merle's actually going to head over toward Talia.
All right. At the moment, Talia is sitting down. She's admired some of the art, and she's basically talking with Loy, the Nosferatu Primogen.
Yeah, Merle will wait for an opportune moment to slip in there, and once he's got his opportunity, he'll offer as respectful a bow as he can, as jittery as he is at the moment. Boy.
Yeah, they don't seem to be talking in hushed tones, but the subject of what just occurred seems to be the matter of topic. That Loy is surprised at the gall of somebody to do that, and Talia sort of gives this, oh yes, it's terrible. I didn't expect somebody to try that. I haven't seen anything like that in a while, besides the occasional aspects to listen in, and then you probably have your opportunity to interject the conversation.
Yeah, he's just sauntered up and offered again as respectful a bow as he can in his current state. Still presumably taking a drag on that can. No, he's not.
Nope, you can't smoke in there.
Still obviously aching for a smoke right now.
Yeah, you remember you also failed your nightmare check the last.
Exactly.
But at least you're not having to get into the elevator until you have to leave. But both of them nod to you and allow you to approach.
Mr. Loy, Mr. White, well, fucking charming as always. Got a shut it calm there, huh?
It has been an eventful evening, says Loy.
Yeah. Well, at least if nothing else, it'll be something to take the heat off care for a little while.
Talia interjects a little bit. Oh, it's dreadful, but yes, they'll wag their tongues about it for a while.
Though speaking on the matter, I've had the opportunity of speaking with Mr. Theodore a little more than the rest of this bunch here. Strikes me someone can be useful if we implement it, right? I'll vouch for his honesty. I woke up with nothing missing from my bar.
Both of them look to you, although Loy seems to be a little bit less readable as an Nosferatu. But Talia, she adjusts her boa around her shoulders and looks over. So you vouch for him.
For the time being, yes. Like I said, Ravnos can be useful in this trying time, especially considering our advice to the south.
Oh yes, that would be. I'm sure his talents could be put to some kind of use in the city. She sort of looks up to the air, the ceiling for a moment, as if pondering what that use would be. And Lloyd just sort of has this grin on his face, like, oh yes, yes. I'm sure he's very useful in the right place.
Oh God.
That being said, you still have to keep an eye on him. Never can tell what the gypsies will get up to.
Talia smiles over to you. Yes, I'm sure you will be able to keep an eye on the Ravnos.
Well, of course, he's going to be staying in my bar for the time being. And to keep them on a short leash while I can.
Very well. That's good to know. I'm sure he's going to want to speak to us directly, correct?
I would presume so. He's a clever sort. He'd seek out the one that, might have more sympathetic leanings to the outside. He'll cast a grin over toward Talia.
All right. Well, she smiles back to you, and says, "Well, if he wishes to speak to me, I'm willing."
I'll pass that along. Shall I inform him it's a formal summons?
I wouldn't go that far, but if he's wanting to speak to one of the Primogen about his position in this city, as precarious as it is, I'm at least willing to hear his side of the story.
Fair enough, though. I might suggest you do make that personal summons. Just remind him of the station of power in this city.
Loy would mention, yes, you should definitely teach him the ropes of what's true politics of Camelot and how they work. I'm sure you've learned a great deal in your time here.
Oh, of course. Most certainly an improvement over that shithole in California.
Yeah, Lloyd just sort of nods to that, and Talia just sort of ruffles the feathers on her shoulders.
But yeah, seeing he's kind of gotten things leaning a little toward his way here, he'll politely excuse himself. Another short, polite bow before he ambles on over toward Theo.
Certainly. Just give me a rundown though of how James the Earl is feeling, or good.
Merle is just feeling relieved that he can overstep his boundaries then, and in addition, having the potential of some of the heat taken off him with the appearance of these two newcomers from less than savory clans.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, what are you up to in this gathering?
I am just actively walking around, admiring the artwork like I was originally, paying no mind to anyone else.
All right, yes.
While actively listening to everyone around me, but just making it look like I have no intention of caring about anything.
Yeah, there's the various different artwork. It's that's apparently on display by the Toreador in this gathering. About a dozen paintings or so, a couple of photos, but mostly it's paintings are somewhat abstract, very energetic depictions of different people and some various different activities, dancing or celebrations of life.
Oh, nice.
Some of them are single individuals, while others are group photos or paintings. And as you would step over to admire one and try to listen into the conversation, you actually are approached by Zach Winthrop. Who steps, look, one of the paintings you're admiring, he steps closer, and says, young child, how do you view this painting before you?
What's the painting of?
We'll say it's of two people, a couple sort of dancing, sort of swirling in the some kind of field.
I see this art as ironic for the type of manner of event we're in right now.
He looks to you. He's dressed entirely in black. His pale skin, of course, contrasting against it. And he just sort of examines you for a moment and says, how so?
Well, the picture would be of two people obviously celebrating life and together, while yet we're in an unlife, and it seems that there are many people that aren't willing to work together here.
Maybe they're not together. Maybe this isn't a pair of lovers, but rather a pair of fighters.
It could also be. I mean, art is all about perspective.
Very true. Of course, I don't have the same eye as some of the trio here, but I do appreciate when I see something obviously with skill and talent as this artist was brought to us for.
Agreed. I enjoy all the art here, honestly. I'm one to just fancy art when I can.
And do you have any talents that we should know about?
In terms of painting, no. My talents for painting are nowhere near the level that you see here.
Zach just sort of nods as if that's a satisfactory answer. Welcome to Seattle. I hope that we will be seeing more of you in the court.
I'm sure I'll be around whether I want to or not, and I look over to the rest of the group.
You'd probably see the rest of the PCs wandering or talking with their various different people. Zach Winthrop just sort of stares at you for a few more moments, sort of still, and then starts to walk away.
I just nod and continue with what I'm doing.
And since we're going around table for this, what's going through Eric's mind as he's watching the keeper walk away from him?
Instantly, in his head, I can't trust that one. And is just trying to think of a way to get out of here because I am highly irritated and my impulses are telling me to go have fun outside.
All right, very good. And lastly, Theo, what is you up to in this gathering? A couple of intruders mingling and others are making exits.
For the record, last session I was flirting with the harpies. Is that right? Is that what I did?
Sure. The harpies, all three of them are, or the two, and their hanger-on, Elsa, are still there.
Right. Right, so I'm going to assume that he got some numbers.
No.
Curved. Man, my boy used to be pulling him back in training.
If you want to try to get phone numbers from them, that might require more effort or a roll of some kind. But right now, they're not offering you that information.
It's not really... Okay, fine. Well, I mean, he has more pressing matters at hand. He was just told by the prince that he needs to convince Two Primogen to be on his side in order to vouch for him to stay in the city of Seattle. Now, given that Walter is a Setite, and he vouched for him initially during his introduction, he first approaches Walter to try to have a conversation about who would be best for him.
All right, well,
You're approaching me asking who's the best to ask first?
Right. So Theo says to Walter, I just want to say thank you so much for helping to introduce me to the city. Right, so I mean, you know a bit more about the odds and ends over here than I do, and given that you're also from an outsider clan, I believe both of our clans are, what used to be my clan was very independent. You may have a better perspective when it comes to this Camarilla politics than I do, especially since I'm new to the city.
Well, it's the least I can do to help you out, Theo. I know what it's like to be, as you said, outcast myself. And to answer your other question, speaking of outcast, and I'll gesture towards Loy, I think that one knows a little bit about being an outcast. It might be a good place to start. He seems familiar with your area of expertise as well. Sort of looking over Theo's wearing his nice street rags, I guess.
Glad rags. Right. So Theo says to Walter, he leans in and he whispers, "You talking about that sewer rat, right?"
Yes, I'm talking about the sewer rat. He knows what it's like. He knows what it's like to live on the outskirts of kindred society, to never be trusted by anybody. You would probably, among all the Primogen, have a unique perspective on your situation, and maybe more inclined to help you.
Very true, very true. Do you think we're living in the times where, how do you say, clans don't necessarily have it against each other when it comes to our histories, but more on a personal basis? We may be able to like each other, would you say?
I think that depends.
What?
You cut off.
You think
I think that particular concern depends on particular kindred.
Particular kindred. Seems that's fair enough. From what my sire told me, pretty much the only clan that could potentially have any sort of Emelians with Ravnos with Malkavians, but I don't believe that pretty much is here at the moment. Is that right?
No, he left after the scene earlier.
Damn. Well, I guess I'm left with no other choice. I know it definitely up to the Toreador.
I contact with him if you'd like. I can perhaps arrange a meeting with Roman.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Whenever that can be good for you, but I guess for now I'm gonna have to work with what we have. Thank you, Walter.
You're very welcome.
All right, so thank you so much. Okay, so is Meryl still by still by Lloyd and the woman with the feathers?
No, at this point he's walked away from the two of them.
Okay, I'm gonna assume that they saw that though, at least, right?
Yes, you would have at least seen when he pointed out Loy, the Nosferatu, as well as, and they're still sort of socializing together, although they're starting to walk closer to the Harpies right now.
Closer to the Harpies. Okay, so Theo kind of tiptoes over to Meryl and strikes a conversation with Meryl. James, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, you said Merle, right?
Yes, that's right.
I'm sorry, was that pronunciation? I thought it was Merle.
Merle.
But yeah, Merle's still ambling on over toward the field and he gets flagging on it again. Don't mention your friend. Need a sponsorship from three Primogenians. You got an opportunity to press two of them. Little gesture on over to Talia, boy.
Right, okay, so Theo says Merle. Right, I'd appreciate it if you can walk up there with me just in case I would face scrutiny. I know how this works.
Fair enough. I left a few words in their ear, but insurance would never hurt. Just be clear of two things here. He'll put a hand on Theo's shoulder, kind of turning him looking dead in the eye. I stuck my neck out for you over those two. You ain't gonna embarrass me. Second thing is, if you do embarrass me, I will see that you're evenly distributed amongst your friends and family in this city. You understood?
Okay, so Theo laughs at first, and he says, that isn't my intention. But if that is the case, then good luck, but sure, I'll agree with you.
He'll smile at that, pat him on the shoulder. Good man. Now, Island Blessings out of the way, let's go have a douche. And he'll start over toward the Italian Lloyd.
All right. They are, as I said, just still sort of socializing, seem fairly friendly. And of course, they would stop as you two approach. And
Okay, well, you said it with the Harpies right now, right?
they're standing near the Harpies, yes.
Are they socializing with harpies?
They were pretty much approaching them, but the harpies are probably going to be joining this conversation shortly. So
Nice. All right.
In that case, Dayon will go up to the harpies and run interference real quick.
Oh, certainly. All right. I can't do two conversations at once though. So
Yeah.
we'll focus on Loy and Talia with Theo and Merle.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and approach another polite bow. Lord, Talia, I'm going to have the pleasure of introducing Theo Bordeaux for me.
Talia will actually offer up a hand, sort of her palm downward.
Palm downward. To Theo?
Yes.
Theo bows, takes Talia's hand, and kisses it lightly on the finger.
She nods and smiles to that. Loyev is not offering a handshake, though.
I wonder why. Anyways, okay, so Theo first speaks to Talia, and she seemed the friendliest. And he says, I am the new gypsy in town. I know what that name implies, but I'm here for a reason, and I'm not just passing through. But certainly, we can work something out if you ever need me to.
She looks you over in what you're wearing, and says, so, are you a friend or progeny of coyotes?
Out of character, the coyotes.
She's asking you if you know if you're a friend or the progeny of somebody by the name of Coyote. And Merle, you know who that is.
Yeah, he whistles a little at that name. You can tell he's more than a little annoyed.
Coyote. Okay, so I guess Theo kind of glances over at Merle with a face like, "What is she talking about?"
He's just giving him a shake in the head.
Alright, so I guess Theo kind of tugs on out of Merle's arm and leans in, and he says, "Coyote, I'm unaware. How do I go about this? I'm really trying not to mess this up."
She is in one of the animals.
The animals.
Yep.
Loy looks at you, Merle, and says, "What? What are you saying?"
Nothing. Like I said, he's new to the city. He's uninformed about that particular degenerate.
Both Talia and Loy look to one another and then look back at Merle and seem a little bit confused. But Merle says, "So I take that as a no. You don't know her."
Theo is along, and he practically agrees. No, I'm not a friend of this coyote, whoever they may be.
Loy actually speaks up and says, "She's the only other Ravnos in the city, to our knowledge."
Okay, so Theo is shocked to hear that there's another member of his clan or bloodline, however you would consider them, within the city of Seattle, let alone somebody that they know about, who may have actually been here for a while. So that's something he'll definitely keep in mind later. But Theo confirms, no, I was not aware that there were any other of my kind within the city of Seattle.
Yes, Coyote has been useful in the past. She mostly stays in Alki, West Seattle area. But she doesn't often come to these court meetings since she doesn't seem to be as welcome. But the prince accepts her.
Okay, so, Theon's thinking in his mind, how exactly is another Ravnos that they know of, welcome in the city of Seattle? So he's trying to contemplate what he could potentially do to earn his acceptance. And, he says to, her name was Talia, right?
Yes, Talia.
Okay, Talia and Loy. Maybe somebody I can be acquainted with in the future. I might have to arrange some kind of rendezvous potentially. But again, no, I'm not a friend of coyotes. But that's besides the point. But
Roy, because you're still young. Is that what you said?
You can say that. I'm new to the Sun Life for quite less time than many other people here have been around.
Talia sort of, we don't need to talk about age. Everyone's got their stories and their centuries they can talk about. We're still in polite size kindred society here. How are you enjoying Seattle so far, young one?
Okay. Well, it didn't take me very long. I was gladly able to acquaint myself with this little, I guess you can call it a coterie here. You know, they've looked out for me for the time being, and I made certain not to rob my friends now. That's typically what's expected of my kind. So far, it's really good. You know, I couldn't ask for any better.
Very good. I'm fairly close with Walter's sire, Willie. He's a good friend of mine. I trust him, despite his clan. Lloyd just is staying silent, but Talia just comments a little bit more and says, you are in a position where you need approval of one of us, the Primogen of the city. And I could offer something, but I would require some kind of exchange for giving my voice to your claim in the city. What do you offer?
And then Theos says to Talia, whatever you need me to, just let me know. You can whisper it in my ear.
Talia looks at you for a moment. She doesn't blush or anything, but she seems uninterested in flirting with you the way that you are. But she does sort of smile a little bit.
But us Ravnos really have our way of getting around and getting our hands on things that we need, regardless of whether or not it's secrets, magic, illusions, something on the street. Really, well, that offer extended to much more than which you initially thought it did.
Well, there could be some things for you to help us with in the future. We could always do the favor for the favor, the boon. I'm sure the Harpies could arrange it.
I'm well acquainted with the Harpies by now.
Merle, are you saying or doing anything else, or just still standing there?
Merle cringed just a little at his attempt at flirting, but he's looking pretty satisfied so far. He's not gonna get fucking killed or ostracized.
All right. We'll deflect the conversation briefly over to Dion. The harpies are, so they've been sort of just the three of them, the two harpies and Elsa. We're also talking with Cassandra, so she is with them as well, the trio of Primature. And it seems like they were slightly talking in hushed tones, but you approach to deflect them from joining the conversation.
Yep. Lady Devereaux, my dear Harpies, Miss Walker, my sympathies that things degraded so poorly this evening.
It's Imogen who actually. Oh, it's perfectly all right. These matters have to be addressed when they occur, though, and we all are very thankful to Zach for bringing it to our attention. And then Isabel, of course. Yes, of course. Yes. Thank you for your condolences, though.
Of course. It is the job of all Tremiers to assist the Camarilla in any way that we can.
And Cassandra, it looks over to you a little bit, and she just sort of nods. She seems like she's getting a little bit bored of this gathering.
My Lady Cassandra, would you like any refreshment or anything else before you leave?
She sort of swirls what's left of her drink that she's already sipping on, blood cocktail. Says, no, I don't need anything else tonight. And how are you enjoying the art, Dion?
The selection... where did you get these, if I may ask?
Oh, the artist, yes. Adam is the one I brought his pieces here. He's one of the ones that I found a few months back that I've become his muse, as it were.
Interesting.
I simply had to show off his work and what he's been producing.
Has he shown any other talents by chance?
Other talents? What are you referring to?
Well, quite simply, I gone to Theo over there. Apparently saw something within the painting. I don't entirely know if his claims are genuine, however. I do like to explore all possibilities.
Yes, that what group of dancers he was pointing to during the court, the painting, it is one of the best ones that Adams produced. It was interesting that he pointed it out as if that was the cause of his arrival in the city.
Yeah.
I'm certain it's something he wants to collect.
Racist.
Was there anything different about the circumstances of its creation in comparison with any of the others?
Adam is a great artist with a great vision. I'm considering him for the embrace, but he is still mortal.
Ah.
To my knowledge, he found inspiration from one of the city festivals in Fremont.
Fremont. May I speak with him sometime?
Cassandra looks at you, not like it's the worst question for you to ask, but she seems definitely a little bit furled by that, wanting to speak to her prized artist, but she says I could arrange a meeting for perhaps some minor boon. And both of the two harpies immediately nod that could be arranged.
I'll consider it. Thank you for your time. You have a pleasant evening.
All right, going back to the conversation next by that with Theo and Talia and their Floyd.
Okay. Okay, so Theo now directs his attention to Loy, and this time he does a slight code switch. So instead of like his elegant voice, he kind of switches to a slight, like kind of Cajun, Southern sounding voice, in of which I still can't do, but just keep that in mind. So he says to Loy, I know what it's like out there. And certainly we can arrange some things that we can trade. I know that's what your clan is into. My kind, we go all over the continents. And I'm certain that there's something that you may be interested in.
Our Lloyd just looks a little bit at you for a moment. He's still standing pretty close to Talia, but he says, you've got a couple of things you should know. We have heard of you before, for one thing. You're not as invisible as you might think.
Theo's thinking to himself for a second. I heard of you, what does that exactly mean? Me, as in me as a person, as a kindred, or of my clan, or bloodline, or whatever, or my sire. So Theo's looking a bit puzzled.
And Merle's just thinking, fuck.
Theo's kind of like feeling that too.
But you're correct. There might be a use for your activities, and things have their own possibilities of getting spread around, as it were. But I wouldn't be selling quite yet what you bring to the city. There's still some others that play in that same field.
So Theo's also
to the south.
I'm sorry, say again?
If you're going to continue your wares, you should probably keep to the south city. They wouldn't take you kindly up further north.
Okay. Theo's thinking, well, this isn't really the time to be disobeying the Camarilla. So he agrees with this, and he tells Loy, whenever you need my services, just contact my coterie or my acquaintances here, and we'll arrange some things.
Yes, I will definitely keep that in mind.
Thank you, sir.
Talia actually does whip out a business card and says, if you want to speak more seriously, Theo, about the arrangement, you can contact me later on.
Alright, so Theo looks Talia directly in the eye and takes the business card with a smirk on his face.
And then she turns over to Lloyd and says, have you given him your card for the funeral service? And Lloyd kind of nods for a moment and says, oh, yes. I have offer a cleanup service in the city in case anyone makes any mistakes. If anyone comes up that needs to be cleaned, as it were, or body removal. He fishes through and finally pulls out a slightly wrinkled card and says, if you need cleanup, if something happens, then here's the number of the funeral service and who to call for.
Theo's like, yes, now I can suck that a prostitute. Tell nobody on this queen.
Yes.
No. Anyways, so Theo takes the card with grace.
So now at least you have the cards of two of the five.
Matteo sticks inside his satchel, where he keeps his drugs, his narcotics, his Schedule 1 drugs.
Alright. Going back over to Walter for a moment.
So, if I recall, last session there was also some mention from the Prince of certain human trafficking involved in the city. Was that the Kuijin who had been suspected of that? Akima Yanako?
Not quite. Which I didn't go over to recap, but I'll go over once again for everyone. A letter had been delivered from Akima about alerting the prince or informing the prince, even though they're not invited outside of their area. Apparently a letter was delivered at the bottom of the elevator to the Space Needle Sky Lounge. When the prince got it, he read it, and apparently he said that Akima is alerting them of some kind of human trafficking incident that they should be investigating. He announced that to the court that it would be something that he would appreciate somebody looking in on. Sort of implying to your coterie, because he looked directly at you at the time he was mentioning it, Walter.
Walter would be the best one to look into that.
The people to help look into this report. It might require actually speaking with the Kyujin to find out more, or just taking the information that Akima is given and directly investigating.
Walter wants as little to do with that thing as possible.
Probably wise, but yes.
Yeah, for reasons probably better left unsaid. He has a particular distaste for her. Instead, Walter's just going to go up to Eric, actually. Just going to sort of approach behind. He's not going to touch him. Just going to make his presence known and simply say, it's usually best to socialize at these sort of events, right?
Yes, I do know that, but I'm not the social butterfly, as you could say. And then I'll turn around to face Walter.
Well, butterflies aren't necessarily social creatures either, but they pretend to be.
Oh.
They look pretty, they flutter about.
I like to, play the field before I start actually talking. Plus, I'll let all of you handle it since you seem to be more familiar with these sort of things.
We may be more familiar, but that's simply because we've spent time getting to know the field.
And that's
sitting in a corner and not socializing doesn't seem to be accomplishing that goal. I can introduce you to some people if you'd like. Just keeping your best interests in mind.
I'm not against, socializing. I just like to make my rounds and kind of see everyone.
Sort of waiting to be approached, if you will.
Yeah, I've been approached once already.
Twice now.
Well, I don't count the current group to be ones that need to speak to me.
Savage.
Yes, the new people in the city, if you will, we being the youngest, less important, huh?
Well, not even in that, just we've already been introduced. I don't see a point in small talking here. We have plenty of opportunities after.
True, but there are plenty of people here you haven't met that perhaps it would be wise to meet. Although many of them have left by now after that unfortunate incident earlier.
Yes, well, if you have anyone that you would think I should speak to, I'm more than ears and willing to smile on behalf of that.
Personally, it's always best to be on Loy's good side. The Harpies have probably tried to talk to you. It's best to humor them, if not befriend them. But really, you should just be familiarizing yourself with everyone. You can watch them. I certainly do the same, but personally I find that a conversation provides so much more information on a person's outlook.
Well, if you're willing to introduce, I'll speak, but from what I was told by my sire, they don't look kindly upon my kind.
You're preaching to the choir. Shall we perhaps see what Loy has to say when he has a moment?
Absolutely.
Perhaps we should. Sorry.
You would see at least that Loy and Talia are now separating from one another. He's going over towards the sheriff. Trent.
Shall we?
Yes, let's.
Let's see. Dan will make his way over to Thaddeus then.
All right. Let's do only one conversation at a time. We're going to do at least this conversation, and then we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So starting with Walter and Eric talking with Trent and Lloyd.
Yeah,
or
Trent is still sort of brooding. He seems a little restless. But Loy is approaching to speak with him. And you can intrude on that conversation or try to listen in. But it seems like Loy is just wanting to make sure that after that incident with Betsy that things are still all right. And also, but yeah, that's the gist of the conversation as it's begun.
I was going to say, can Walter try to arrive towards Trenton around the same time as Loy to be not intruding?
Yes, that would work.
Then Walter will sort of approach and go, Loy, Trent, are you feeling all right after that? Trent, I know you, of course, would be fine, but best to check. Unfortunate business, that.
Trent sort of waves it off again, like he did before. It's all right. Everything's been handled. But Loy is also sort of like giving Trent a concern. You know, we need our sheriff strong and doing his job, so it's still not kosher what happened. But yeah, Loy does look over to you, Walter, and smiles with his strange teeth and look of disgusting features. Trent, of course, is stepping a little bit away from the window, looking down on the people below.
Trent is Eric's sire, right? No. No. Is that Samuel?
Woman who looked like a wolf.
Gotcha. I missed the.
Her name is Sonia.
What's it called?
Yeah, you have not met her.
She doesn't even live in the city.
Mm-mm.
Gotcha. I missed his prelude. That's the word I was looking for. So I don't know much about him. I'll sort of gesture to both of them and then to Eric and say, I was just talking with Eric here, and we agreed that it might be best for him to make the rounds, if you will, and get to know some people. We also wanted to check on Trent here and figured that we could kill two birds with one stone, so
Trent actually.
The words on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, Trent sort of cuts you off to actually thrust a hand towards Eric to shake.
I will shake his hand and say, "It's a pleasure."
He's got a fairly strong grip, but he's not like trying to hurt your hand. But you can definitely tell that Trent is probably got some strength to him. Says, I'm a long-haired city, if you want to call it that. So, if you have any problems or anything happen, just keep me in mind.
I will do that. I spent plenty of time with Samuel, and he told me to definitely speak to you if need be.
Yes, Samuel's been here longer than even up. Very good. Loy also smiles over to you. He does not offer a hand to shake, but he's welcome to the city of Seattle. It's good to have another one of the wanderers in our midst. I say your clan is actually growing in the city.
Yeah, it seems to be. I did not expect, to be in this sort of group, but I'm glad everyone's making me feel so welcome.
Trent actually will say, yeah. Well, most of us are pretty tight knit here. After a while, they get to know us better.
Well, if there's anything I could ever help with, please just let me know.
Trent nods at that, says, I'm sure that you could come in useful in a fight later, in case anyone else breaks the rules. And Loy, are you thinking of recruiting him into one of your hounds? Trent actually sort of shrugged slightly. I wasn't going that far. And Loy sort of nods to you and as well to Trent. Turns back to you, Eric, and still, you are among good friends here in the city. Samuel's a great mentor.
I appreciate it, and I'll definitely pass off the word if I ever see him. I'm sure he'll love to hear it.
I imagine he's protecting our city from any of the anarchs trying to slip past our borders.
Speaking of things slipping past our borders, what do you? I was curious. What do you two make of the note from earlier?
Trent actually sort of gives a slightly sour look. Loy just sort of perks an eyebrow at you, and Trent is the one that answers. He'll say, it's those damn Cathayans need to stay where they're at and keep out of our business.
I find myself agreeing with you. But it's concerning. One way or
Loy actually will say yes. This is something that needs to be talked about. It is concerning.
perhaps
your cabal, your little coterie in Georgetown, near that area, near the docks.
We are actually. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, it's okay.
We are in that area, indeed. Hopefully, next time we meet, I can perhaps shed some light on this concerning issue.
Loy actually smiles over to you. Well, we might have some things to discuss then later.
Indeed. Though I have no doubt Eric here will be of much assistance in the matter as well. No telling what one might come across.
Trent is probably just sort of grumbling a little bit about the situation, but Loy seems to have some kind of insight or some. He's just looking at you in a way. I'm not even requiring a subterfuge roll. You can tell that Loy knows something, or is, without trying to spill it out or say it directly. Is at least seems indeed. Well, who knows what you'll be able to find. But he seems to be at least giving the hint without Trent quite picking up what's being put down, as it were.
Gotcha. Noted.
But let's take about 5-10 minute break or so. Just a little bit of a rest. I need to file myself.
Okay. Once we get done, we should probably wrap the party up and actually get to the docks wherever the heck we're gonna go.
Yeah, that would be good. I'm trying to wrap things up and give you the chance to also help Theo out. So.
Yeah.
All right, take a break.
Kill these fucking flies that have been bothering me since the beginning of the session.
Oh man, I work in a warehouse, and we have 2 ponds right near our docks, and we've had mosquitoes like crazy.
Yeah, same here. I live right next to a fucking field of water every day.
Oh, it's the worst.
I'm from inland California. There actually aren't a lot of mosquitoes here.
Oh, you're lucky. I live in Wisconsin, so.
We just had some awful bouts of rain the last couple of weeks, and the ground is still soaked. The mosquitoes.
Can you give some of the rain? We need rain.
If we could, we would.
I was actually thinking about
right.
to Governor Brown. Can we ship down organs and water to
I will say I'm very fortunate though. I have one of the blood types that mosquitoes don't find too attractive. So when I'm at work, I have 2 people that work with me, and they both get bit up constantly, and I have like 1 bite total.
Maybe you're not human.
Well, I know I'm not, but I didn't need to shit up the world.
I was visiting my family in New York City, and the mosquitoes were everywhere. It was fucking. On top of that, since I grew up in California, I was passing out because of the humidity.
Arizona, we're not mosquitoes out the ass up here. I don't know why.
I swear I just attract insects. It doesn't matter what kind. They just are everywhere every time I'm outside. My dog decided to take her sweet every time I took. Let's just say I have about 24 extra bug bites that I wish I really didn't have.
Yeah, imagine so. These flies are nowhere to be found by the time I have the swatter. I think it makes sense.
I gotta tell you, Merle is so friggin' happy Theo behaved himself there.
Just because Dale's around us doesn't mean he's gonna fuck things up for you like Dale. Like, that's racist. That's racist.
Like, Walter's just been kind of watching, and I remember not so long ago when Walter was that one, outsider clan dude that nobody trusted and everybody hated and everybody wanted to figure out what his deal was. And now I'm just watching all, like, the Kaitip and the Ravnos pour in, and I'm like, yes, don't look at me, look at them.
I just realized the only member of the coterie who actually is, like, genuinely a part of the Camarilla would be would be the Tremere, which is Deon, not Dan, Deon.
I'm pretty much your babysitter, all of you. And do behave, otherwise you will get a spanking, and it will not be a spanking you will like.
Thanks, Daddy.
So I'm actually curious, what is the deal with Dion? I know you swapped him in just a little bit ago as an alternative to Elza, but I don't actually know much about him. I was working the day of the prelude for him as well.
You know that he's a practitioner of voodoo, like religiously. You know, he's from New Orleans. And I don't know, how friendly have you gotten with him?
Well, he's in our coterie, right?
Yeah. But
I imagine I'd have learned the basics about him.
Yeah, well, let's see. You do know that he spends a decent amount of time with the actual Tremere, so he's kind of back and forth. I guess for this particular, you kind of look at him more as, there's the guy who's looking over my shoulder.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Actually, I think you probably might get along with him because he's an intellectual like you. And so he can help you research and the like.
Wait, so Isaac, let me get this straight. Is Leon fluent in French?
Oui, monsieur.
French?
Right, so you do realize that him and Theo can have conversations in French, right?
Yes. We remember one of the first things he said, stop speaking French.
Very clearly nowadays, because he's proud of his French culture.
Oh, Deon's proud too. It's that he doesn't want anyone to think that there's anything to hide between Theo and Deon. Especially, like, no, I'm not. You know, if people think I'm, like, having secret conversations with the prince, that's one thing. But they think I'm having with an outsider Ravenos, that's, like, suicide.
Yeah, you'll be good. I'm more worried about them singing the cave in the Ravenos about something. That's for a natural pair.
In all honesty, James, like, just by looking at it, the person that he's most comfortable with would probably be the Cadet. Biker, lawbreaker, another vagabond.
Well, let's see. Deon does respect someone who can get things done effectively. Arguably, Merle does fit that profile. Yeah, let's see, I guess with Merle, your experiences would be when a fight's broken or whatnot, Dan usually, afterwards, when two are alone, says, good job.
When there's a fight and when you need to deal with, general degenerates scum.
You also seem to notice that things tend to go badly for whoever you're fighting if there's, like, a lead up to it. It's the weirdest thing to you.
Not as weird as you'd think.
Oh, man. I did because we were going to do the other game, and then I made this Tremere character, and I really liked him, then we weren't doing the other game. Like, you know what, if I can, I'll switch over, because there's a lot of fun that I can have with this character.
Dion's obviously a cut above us, right, in terms of experience and whatnot, right?
He's been around for, like, as far as you know, he's been around for almost a decade as a Tremere.
Oh, hey, by the way, did Deon recognize that in the painting that Theo was looking at, it was the man Poe that Deon had actually met in New Orleans like 10 years before?
Well, did he?
Believe yes, it's a artistic representation, but yeah, it does resemble.
Well, I was being more coy because, like many good Tremere, don't tell them more than you need to.
Oh yes, very good. Yeah.
Okay, our character,
so
yes.
All back and ready?
Yeah, I'm ready if you guys are.
Yep.
Okay, then we'll go to Thaddeus real quick.
Alright, Thaddeus is actually preparing to leave soon.
Oh, and this is going to be real quick. Thaddeus, 1 second.
Yes?
Any
What can I help?
any additional orders in relation to the Theo character?
I'm sorry, to what character?
Theo. The Ravenous.
I would prefer to keep an eye on him.
I will.
I look forward to knowing what he's capable of.
Roger that. And do we seek to extend him an invitation to stay, or is that not something we're interested in?
I'll need to speak to the regent first. See what he concurs. It would be a bit of a sacrifice to put ourselves on the list for him.
Of course. Though, with something of that, Cassandra would want a favor to see the artist in relation to it. Though, I did get the location where the artist gained his insight. We may want to investigate that particular area.
That's an investigation I'll leave to you, but if you need to do an arrangement, I can speak to Cassandra directly.
I'll see what I can find first. Thank you. Have a pleasant evening.
You're welcome.
And one more thing.
And I will be returning to the Chantry in about 10 minutes, he said.
Yeah. Once everyone's gone, Dan will down 2 blood drinks to gain a blood point.
Alright, yeah, it does take about 2 of the drinks to get an entire blood point.
One more thing.
Yes?
Is Cassandra still in the room?
Yes, she is. She's hanging out with a harpies.
With a harp. Alright.
Dan sees you looking at them, and he just shakes his head back and forth in a big no.
You can't stop this sex on my daddy.
Actually, Dan can, but continue.
Now, bro, cast an illusion over you. Mesmerize.
Most people in the room
Wrong
can.
to put his face in his hands.
Okay. So, Theo approaches Cassandra.
Alright, so you approach, as I said, Imogen and Isabel, as well as Elsa, Cassandra, and I'm going to say that they're basically also with Gabriel, one of the other troubadour in the city, although it sounds like Gabriel is retiring for the evening. But you approach, a group of heads turn towards you, and Cassandra smiles elegantly to you.
Okay, well, for one thing, Theo winks at Imogen.
Alright.
Take note of that. And, right, so Theo strikes up a conversation with Cassandra, and he tells her, I was told by a contact of mine, and this is the main reason why I'm in the city of Seattle, that you know of somebody who I'm interested in.
I understood you were interested in my painting from my artists that I found.
I'm sorry. Yes, very interested. It ties in directly to my Svanharma. That's something that every Ravnos, the true Ravnos, should fulfill. Not the Western Ravnos. This is an open idea. I need the information about the painting, please.
Yes, the artist, Adam, is a great swap. Very talented. I've been grooming him and bringing him to different parts of the city.
Grooming him?
Created many masterworks so far, and these are the best that we selected to share.
Grooming him, meaning he's mortal, is he?
He is.
Okay. Can you tell me the circumstances behind the painting? What it depicts exactly?
She actually says, "Of course, let me come forward." So she starts to lead you over. Isabel and Imogen are, as well as Elsa, are not too far behind. She does the typical Toreador thing where she describes the painting of the four dancers. She does it in a very like an expert would do. Though I'm not an art expert, would point out the technique that's used by Adam, the frenetic activity, the colorful dancers in the line. And she says yes, he was a part of the festival that happened down in the solstice, I believe.
What exactly was this festival?
It's Imogen who says that was January 22nd, the solstice parade.
January 22nd of this year, 2016?
Yes.
Solstice parade.
I may be slightly wrong on that date, but that's basically around that time.
And I'm sorry, did you already say where the festival was?
Fremont.
Fremont. Okay. Alright, so Theo looks at the painting, and he does, just give me a second.
And we're actually going to say, looking back on the date, it actually would have been June 18th.
June 18th. Okay.
Yeah.
So Theo takes us all in, and he points us out. Do you recognize this man here depicted?
When you pointed out to Cassandra, she says, "No, I do not. I only know the very end."
I'm sorry, say again?
She replies that no, she doesn't, but she knows that all of these were dancers at the parade.
Dancers at the parade. In Fremont on June 18th, right?
Yes. It's regretful, of course, I couldn't attend myself, but that's usually how day parades happen.
And you said the solstice parade?
Yes.
Solstice parade. And you said it was a day parade, right?
Yes, that's how most parades are done during the day.
In the mornings. Okay, so this painting is very, very confusing for Theo. And he's trying to balance in all the information that he's taking and everything he knows about the man that he's talking about. Alright. Is there any way that I can meet this artist of yours?
She looks briefly at Isabel and Imogen and then back to you. He is a member of my herd, as you would call it, and I am not inclined to just introduce them to anyone. But if you wish to have an arrangement, or a boon.
Very interesting.
I understand you're also seeking for staying in the city, correct?
Correct, my lady.
I am throwing a private soiree later. Perhaps if you were to add keep on some decoration that your clan is so known for, that could be a worthy addition. What do you think, Imogen? Or Isabel? And they sort of coo at one another. Oh, that could be lovely. Sure, you could add some interesting decorations. Cassandra then looked over to you and says, "That's something you're capable of."
So Theo's thinking all these women are clearly in love with him.
Dayan just face palms.
I'm just shaking my head right now.
Punch this bastard's head against the wall.
Oh my god. Alright. Okay, so Theo kind of Yeah, so Theo kind of like adjusts his glad rag. It's just like kind of like a very old-fashioned, and he said, "Very interested, and I'm very capable of this. You don't know what's in this bag. This bag works wonders."
She smiles a little bit at that, and says, "Well, this upcoming Tuesday, if you were to help us with a party on the 18th, that could be very appreciative, and maybe I can even arrange for Adam to attend as well."
I'll definitely fit this into my schedule, my lady. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. As well as you, Imogen. Wink.
Now the question is, did you say wink or did you actually wink?
He actually winked. What put it past him?
Theo, 2016 to 2016.
He doesn't care if Imogen's taken anyway, bro.
You can tell that Vision is at least smiling to you, and Isabel is also has her eyes intently on you.
Intently.
Yes. You at least have their attention. But Cassandra says, "I'm not going to reward you the promise until after the party, of course, but I might be able to, if you add to the acumen the decorations, then we will see about your approval." And I'm inclined to read on.
This is something that definitely can be arranged, and those are very fair conditions, my lady. I much appreciate this offer.
Very good. She asked Isabel to give you a contact later.
Does Isabel extend her hand towards Theo?
Yes, she will.
Okay, so then Theo caresses her wrist.
I'm sorry, caresses her
wrist.
Oh, okay. Isabel actually will smile pretty brightly at that. Mm-hmm. Yes, we will talk with you later. I know how to reach Merle and the rest. And you're staying with them, correct?
Correct.
Very good. Welcome to the city.
Thank you, my lady. I will not disappoint. And then Theo's thinking to himself, I'll try my best not to disappoint.
Dayon is going to call up the limo and proceed to get Theo the hell out before he pledges his eternal soul.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did he come with Merle?
He came with Merle.
Yeah.
Merle, are you willing to go back into the elevator?
Let's roll for it. What are we going to call it? I remember the roll for phobia here.
It's basically going to be another code. But I would put it, I don't remember what difficulty we gave before, but I'm going to say difficulty 7.
It's just
very quickly before you roll. I was going to leave with Merle and grab him some drinks before we left. I don't know if that'll impact the roll.
We can also do a willpower roll. It's still difficulty 7.
Definitely going willpower.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, he's had enough drinks to be willing to face this.
All right, yeah, you force yourself into the coffin-like elevator, still with a glass looking out, and at least you're not going the entire way down from the very top.
Yeah, he's still jittery and making sure he's standing in the dead center.
But yes, you get down to the bottom, and both Madeline and Darren have still stayed there pretty much the entire night to escort people up and escort people out. Did anyone actually stay behind, or is everyone leaving?
I was still behind. I was going to leave on my own.
Theo left with Meryl.
Theo, Meryl, and Eon.
Yep.
So Eric and Walter are still there?
Yeah, I am gonna leave, but sort of loiter and see if I can catch Loy outside of court.
All right. He is basically going to be staying a little bit longer. He's not leaving quite yet. But a number of other kindred are starting to make their exits.
Eric will actually leave when another group leaves to kind of just mingle with the crowd.
All right, sure. You actually end up, the Tremere Parmesan has already left, and
With him.
you actually end up leaving around the same time that Talia is leaving, with Trent the sheriff. The two of them are sharing an elevator to take down. And also... Nope, it's just the two of them. So yeah, you jump into the elevator along with those two. Talia actually does turn to you. So I don't believe we've met yet.
Oh, I would just extend my hand and just say, name is Eric. It's a pleasure. And you are?
Talia White, Primogen of Clan Bruham.
Oh, well, I didn't know I was with someone of such esteemed grace. I apologize.
She actually extends her hand downward.
I grab it and kiss her hand gently.
She smiles at you. That's very, very good. I understand you're with Samuel. Are you? But he is not your sire. Is that correct?
Correct. He was just kind of showing me the ropes, you could say.
Interesting. Very good. I own a billiard house in Ballard. You should stop by sometime.
Oh, absolutely. I was never good, but I mean, I would sure love a lesson.
You don't have to play the pool. It's. We also have jazz performances, of course. There's area if you want to socialize with others. We oftentimes meet on Sundays, so you're more than welcome tomorrow night.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to.
I look forward to seeing you then. The Trent is pretty quiet, just listening. It's a pretty short ride, as I said, down to the ground, because you're only about 5 stories up. But he, as soon as the elevator doors open, he sort of like walks off in a huff, and Madeline is there again with Darren. Talia, of course, comes over to Darren. How has the evening been? And he sort of grumbles, "Oh, it's an all right kind of thing." And it's just, she turns over to Madeline. Madeline, will you need my child or anyone? You should be retiring for the evening. I have some hunting I want you to accomplish. And Madeline, the troubadour, that's at the greetings. I think that we can handle the rest of this evening. Thank you so much for your assistance, Darren. She also nods over to you, Eric.
I just nod and just say, have a good evening, and I proceed to leave.
Just what's going on through Eric's head as he's through this?
He would be thinking that so far everything seems good, no one seems to be actively against him, still very irritated at the social gathering and feeling that he's forced into a group of people he barely knows. survival is more important than, comfort.
Very true.
So the back of his head, he's just, I need to get out of here. I need to leave.
Any particular place he's trying to go to next?
I'm just gonna head towards my car and probably head back to Merle's bar, assuming that's where they're all headed.
All right, cool. And Walter, you said you're staying also?
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could catch Loy, but knowing the Nosferatu, I probably will not see him leave.
As I said, Loy is staying. He's one of the ones that's staying a little bit longer. The Harpies, Zach, Loy, and so that's pretty much. And Amelia is still there.
All right. If he doesn't leave relatively soon after Eric leaves, I'll just wander off and go back to Merle's bar. I can always contact him later.
That seems like he goes over to speak with Amelia briefly, and then heads over to the bar to grab one more drink. The Cassandra and the Harpies are also starting to make their exit. And Zach and Amelia then start speaking with one another.
Is Loy isolated?
Loy's at the bar. As I said, he's grabbing one of the last of the blood drinks.
I'll go over and grab one of those blood drinks as well. I did use the little bit of extra, to be honest. But when I walk over, I'll just sort of say, so, you're a man of many secrets?
Loy actually gives this wheezy little chuckle.
I know, that's an awful introduction. Let me just cut to the chase.
Yes.
You know something. I want to know something. What'll it cost me to know that something?
He looks around this little gathering. I mean, it's mostly starting to get empty, and most everyone has retired for the evening. And says, "Well, this isn't the place, so why don't we meet later tonight?"
I could do that. Where would you like to meet?
There's right next to the docks, actually. There's the ferry terminal. Why don't we meet at 1 a.m.? Gives me a chance to do some business beforehand.
All right.
I'll find you when you're there.
I would expect nothing less. Have a good night, Loy.
He brings up the glass in a sort of cheers motion.
I will do the same and then drink my drink and leave.
Yes, it's not too intoxicating, but you can actually taste the flavor of the alcohols. The wine. That's
Yummy.
it.
Red wine, of course.
Of course. They actually had a couple of other drinks available, but it was primarily wine. But yes, you make your way to the exit. Madeline, of course, as I said, and the two ghouls are still waiting there, but Darren has abandoned the position of guarding the entryway. I'm sorry?
He presumably left with Talia.
Yes, his side.
Damn it!
I'll sort of give them a nod. As I'm walking back towards Merle's bar, I'd just like to give Nick a quick text. I should say, I'd see if I could put Theo in touch with Roman. So I know Nick, and Nick knows, or Theo knows me, and I know Nick, and Nick knows Roman. So
You put the M to a W.
All right, so you send over a little text to Nick, and it's not very much longer before you get a response back that says, I will do that for you because you're my friend and I like you.
Thanks, Nick.
That's sweet.
It's kind of, every now and again, her text or messages will be a little off or odd.
I never actually figured out why. Some of us did. Walter never did.
Yeah, Walter never figured out that particular derangement of hers.
She's basically Gur from Invader Zim.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll come through, and I'll just walk back towards the bar. The docks that Loy mentioned are near the Georgetown docks, right?
No, a little bit north of that. The docks that he's talking about is there on the map. It's the ferry dock terminal. It's the major one that goes to Bremerton and Kitsap.
Gotcha. All right, I'll start idly walking that way while I was texting Nick.
Time-wise, it is about around close to 11:30 at this point.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, so plenty of
I
time.
try and grab a bite off, but that's a matter for later.
Yeah. So, what are other people are heading back to Georgetown, or what? Is there some other agenda that anyone had?
Dan simply says to Merle and Theo, well, it looks like we need to check out those docks.
Yeah, Merle, the second he got back to the bar, he slammed back a bottle of whiskey and lit up a whole pack of camels.
Dude, same.
I'm glad to see you two are having fun.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Just a little bit of a rough night. Yeah, Docs. You said Docs. What are we doing?
Theo was tripping, by the way, too. He just ate like a shit ton of shrooms.
I'm gonna walk into this conversation and just, well, it smells like menthol in here.
No, Jay.
Charmed. How do you do, Eric?
Oh, just another lovely evening. And as I say that, I'm like undoing the tie and opening my shirt, and I'm like, I always hated wearing suits.
Doing the fucking club. Now, the Docs, what are we doing?
Isn't it obvious the prince looked towards us? That means we have to take care of it.
All right, let me go arm up for that. I think I still got something in the back room.
All right.
Y'all got a piece?
I can grab it out of my car at any time.
Right then.
Storyteller.
Fine.
Yes.
Quick question. Given I have
Sure.
Burning Blade, can I have one that was prepped ahead of time?
They basically, the way that ritual works, I'm going to say that it would basically last only the one night. But yes, if you want to say that you would have started that at the beginning of the day, then that's fine.
Well, no, I can make one real quick.
Yeah, if you want to make one now and do the intelligence plus occult roll to see how many successes you get. That's a level 2 ritual, so it should be difficulty
5.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
someone. Go ahead.
That would be 4 hits that you can do before the power phase. Is this something you do there at the bar in the back room, or are you doing this in front of everyone?
No, I'll go into the back because keep as much knowledge secret as possible.
Yeah, just checking what you're doing.
Oh, 7 successes. Nice.
Wow.
Well then.
Okay, 3 blood and... Okay, taking 3 blood off. And let's see, where do I put 1 lethal? So that would be 1 in bruised.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I take 1 lethal damage, so...
Yes. Take 1 lethal for that.
Yeah. Okay. Alright. I sheath it, of course, because it's a glowing blade now, and it's like, I say to them, I'm ready.
Yeah, Burl comes back in the bar from the back room, shoving a little shotgun Alabama Nicole in his jacket.
Oh, actually, could I have a Kevlar coat, like, to wear under my normal, formal attire?
It's going to be bulky and noticeable.
Never mind then.
I mean, how would you even stat that Alabama Nicole shotgun? I wonder. Did you?
By the way, Theo's just sitting at the bar with his head back, looking like this.
And you would also notice that Walter probably is not there yet.
So,
Dan will text Walter then and tell him he is at the docks.
What time would this be at?
Basically everyone's left around. The party has the court, I should say, broke up officially. Everyone's left around that 11:30 when you abandoned. So it's probably around that same time when you're leaving the basing hall.
Let's see. It'd be right before heading out. Dan will go to his herd and we'll get 2 blood back if that's all right.
You calling them and going to their places, or sending them over to you by Uber or something?
Yeah, just get one quickly sent over by Uber while we get Walter into place.
All right, yeah, that's going to take you a little bit of time to get. Are you taking 2 from 1 person? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you managed to contact one of your members of your herd who's actually awake at this hour. And managed to get them over to make out a little bit, as it were.
Yep. I'll buy him some drinks.
So are we all driving separate, by the way, or we want to take 1 car?
2
Because
vehicles.
got something that'll carry them all.
Well, then we'll tail with Merle driving.
What? Nobody wants to ride in the Angel Van?
Theo will ride in the Angel Van, just know that he's tripping balls right now.
Dan said we'll deal with Merle driving. That's a confirmation.
I'll gladly do it as I'm putting my pistol on the back of my belt, and I look at my knife and just say, I suppose I'll take this, though I really want to stretch these out as I'm flexing my hands.
Merle's just looking over at Theo. It's just a friggin' amazing expression. We're about to go start some shit at the docks, and you thought now was the time to, I don't know, take shrooms or what the fuck ever.
and then Theo starts tearing up. I'm sorry, Mom.
Just get in the van. I'll take my belt to you later.
Now, gentlemen, I do carry sedatives if you want me to put him under temporarily.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Ain't gonna be the first time I've traveled with a junkie, and he's actually just gonna grab Theo by the back of the collar and kind of drag him out.
Enough to try to keep him from dying.
Don't worry. Done this before.
And we'll do it again, as usual.
Yep.
Merle, if you would take the lead.
Yeah, just hold behind me.
And what was the message you were sending to Walter?
Basically, they're Arrhenius at the dock, so basically just organizing him getting there.
And so, yes, Walter, you're on your way. Are you going to Uber, walk, or how are you going to get over towards...
Walter's got a nice sports car.
Yeah. Right. Over there, that's a good idea. It is a bit of a distance from the Space Needle over to the docks. But as you get
where I need to be later anyway.
As you're getting your car, you get this text from Dion.
I've still got a couple hours till my meeting with Loy, so I'll head over. I'll pull my pistol and put it in my concealed carry slot right behind my belt, just to have that.
All right. So where are you guys? You're heading over just to the docks?
You would say no.
I mean, I don't know what use I'm going to be there, but I'll go.
Yeah, I'm a little slightly confused myself on exactly what the battle plan is here. What exactly you guys are trying to do?
We're
We
investigating...
don't know which. Like, from a logical standpoint, all we know is that somebody said that humans are being trafficked into the city. We don't know what dock, what area, what company, where they might have come from, where they might have been, like. So, I guess Walter will actually not head to the docks. Walter will probably play the man in the chair role. So I'll text Dion back that he'll provide.
Shit, Merle thought Dion had a plan here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of taking along. I kind of showed up and they're like, we're going to the docks. And I'm like, well, I guess I gotta go.
Well,
I'll head back towards the bar then and boot up my electronics and try and find out what information I can based on my records. I find it very difficult, given Walter's influence in black market interactions, that something went into or out of the city without him having some sort of knowledge of it.
yeah. On the way there, Dan will, investigate as well on his phone.
I think I should make some kind of roll to see when Theo will pull out of this trip.
What's the difficulty?
Okay, you're all throwing things at me at once. So let's do this in order.
All right.
Why don't we give Theo first a stamina roll at difficulty of 7, and it's just straight stamina if you can do that roll.
God, I kind of forgot how roll 20 works from this point. Give me a second. D10?
D10, yes.
D10. Yeah, wait, what? No, that's not right.
Yeah, basically your 2 dice of stamina.
Yeah. Okay. 10 plus 7. The target number, which one should I use again?
The arrow should be pointing over to the right.
Got it.
Target number is 7.
Turn number 7, he got 1 success.
Yeah. So yeah, with 1 success, you're gonna at least be tripping for an hour.
Another hour.
Yeah, at least approximately an hour.
Not bad. Feels like forever when you're tripping on shrooms, but I mean, chronologically, it's not too bad.
Yeah. Kindred anatomy, it takes a little bit. The buzz may take a little bit faster through your system. but yes, you can. You are still sort of being affected right now. I'm not looking up all the rules for drugs, but I think there is somewhere there's a website that has that information. Next, we had Walter doing. So you end up heading. You've got some time before you're supposed to meet with Loy. So you wanted to do an investigation roll.
Yep. Walter's going to do what he does best, which is dig up the dirt.
All right. We could do this a couple of possible different ways. I'm seeing with your character sheet.
Yeah, there is a couple different ways I can think of. The generic one is intelligence investigation, but computer or subterfuge or streetwise could also work.
If you're doing this mostly through the computer, then not completely appropriate. Other one, it's not doing as much in person. So if you do it with intelligence plus in computer, I'm going to just set it at W7. But if you prefer to use more dice with investigation, I'll set it at W8.
Sorry, repeat that. You broke up a little bit.
Sorry, if you do this with computer, which would be appropriate, it would be an intelligence plus computer. And I'm going to still say difficulty 7. But if you prefer to use your investigation skill, which you have slightly more dice in, I would say it would be still, most of this would be information that would be difficulty 8, so.
I'll use intelligence computer, difficulty 7.
Yeah.
Only one success.
All right. When you do some digging, and you know some of your contacts, there have been a couple of misplaced crates and things coming in to the city. Some of which does look suspicious, but the main 2 shipments that seem to have been misplaced, the main connection that you're finding is that about 3 weeks apart from one another, they came from Korea. Seem to be the same. Seem to be 2 different companies, but misplaced and large enough that theoretically, yes, you could get people through in a crate like that.
The question I have is, if you'll recall back to Walter's prelude, does any of this seem at all familiar? The way that these are pushed through the companies, the interaction, the shipments, the ships, anything?
You know what? That seemed to be more like weapons being passed through, but it's similar method.
All right. No definite or even hinted at connection to that previous thing that got in trouble.
Yeah, not with that. You just noticed that there's 2 suspicious crates 3 weeks apart from one another.
Would I have dug up where been sent?
You can at least get the information where they came from, the name, and one of these shipping companies, Blue Line, seems to be the main trucking company involved with these crates.
Does Blue Line have their own set of area at the docks?
Yes, they do.
Well, then that's where I'll send everybody else.
Their company is actually in their main company office is in Kent, which is outside of the city. Ooh. But their dock line, that's that on the docks.
Okay. I will send what information I can to Dion
And Dion, you said you were doing your own investigation roll also on your phone?
Oh yeah, well if he sends that, I'm going to take what he gives me. I'm going to do my own investigation to narrow things down even more.
So you're just doing a computer check, seeing stuff that's accessible on the Google and that stuff like that?
Yeah, so difficulty 7 for the computer.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, very good. Once it gives you the information with Blue Line Trucking Company, they are a smaller division, mostly in this northwest area. The company itself has only been in operation for roughly about 5 to 6 years. But there's a couple of things that just scream out that this is a front or this could be something suspicious about this company, even though it looks legit for the most part from the website and from the information you can Google. Some of their Yelp reviews aren't the best, or very, 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 very slim. There's not a lot of reviews for them. But it seems like they ship a lot of stuff around not just Seattle, but a lot of stuff seems to be shipped to the east side.
Okay. I'll forward that information to Nikolai.
The main office itself is outside of the city in Kent, where their corporate, as it were. Near as you can tell, the company probably only has about 20 members that work for it, which most of those are truck drivers and, of course, the administrator.
All right. Or head to the Blue Line.
Head to Blue Line shipping area at the docks.
Yep.
I wonder, would Merle be able to figure out anything with Streetwise roll? Might have heard something about people smuggling.
You can try to see if you recall anyone hearing anything.
What would that be?
With
street
plus
light.
supplies, I'll put it down to be 6, but you need a couple more successes than just 1 or 2.
Okay, it was Streetwise and what else?
With plus streetwise, to see if you recall anything.
Difficulty 6, you said?
Yes.
Whoa!
Nice.
And I got special aid, so I think that's 6.
What is
no, that's for illegal drugs. Never mind.
No, sorry, that will not apply here. Okay.
Yeah, never mind.
You have heard that you recall hearing some rumors about something going on, people being slipped in. It sounds like it's mostly degenerates or people trying to get into the country illegally. But there has been a method of doing that. You don't know the actual names of anyone, but there has been rumors that one of the Asian gangs is related or somehow using a method of getting people into the city.
No surprise there. How's Theo doing, by the way?
Theo?
That's up to the storyteller whether or not he came down from the truck.
But by the time you're in the car and you're starting to head out, as far as you can tell, that the streets are just sort of rippling and things are really really colorful in the city, and you're just smiling giddy at as things are just moving along.
Yeah, he's gone.
Poor Merle just shaking his head. Fucking chunky.
See, Theo didn't mess up things with the court, but he does like slack off on the sides. Much it.
We can definitely see. So he will go ahead and text. He will go ahead and try to text. Probably Dion and whoever else needs to know that it's probably one of the Asian gangs. He's helping narrowing that down.
So yeah, you guys end up getting to the docks pretty easily. It's near the edge of West Seattle. It's here on the map if you want to narrow it down a little bit. But that area, as said, it's got a couple of different waterfronts. Some of the ships have to go in and out of that area to take some of the supplies off the boats onto the docks. From there, the docks sometimes sit there. The containers sit there for a while. Eventually, they're loaded onto a semi-truck or something of that nature and then shipped out. And some of the lots are definitely closed off, security gates kind of thing, and others have lesser security, just ad hoc kind of chain link fence. The area is not necessarily busy at this late at night, but there are some workers that do work at late hours, depending on the dock. When you your first check out where the directions that you have for the Blue Lines lot, it is one of the ones that's past the security guard gate. So the question would be, are you guys parking outside the gate, or are you trying to figure out a way to in?
Merle's definitely going to try to park outside, try to sort out a way in.
Does the Camarilla have anyone that we know that works at the docks?
There's a good chance of that, but you would have to actually probably, you don't necessarily know who everyone is that works at the docks that's in the Camarilla pocket.
Well, let's see. Given that it's an assistance with the prince, I'm going to request Nikolai's help. See if he knows. Do you have anyone that works at the docks, in particular around the Blue Line?
Are you calling him or texting him, or?
I'm going to text him, given that.
All right. You send off a text over to Nikolai, and after about 3 minutes of waiting, you'll finally get a response back that he can refer you to one of the other Venturi that does have information, but he's not familiar with Blue Line.
Roger, thank you.
He will make an arrangement, and that, I'm sorry, trying to find the name. And this stupid Roll20 isn't working right now. He will tell you that Reginald Tastavan has a lot of connections at the dock. If you want to contact him, he may have a better answer for you.
Let's see, how socially busy is Reginald?
Reginald wasn't at the court today. He is one of the main corporate venture. Is sometimes attends court meetings, but Dion isn't that familiar with him.
Alright, I'll give him a call in that particular case.
You'll actually get through to a woman that actually answers the phone. Hello?
Hello.
May I help you?
Yes, I would like to speak to Reginald.
Reginald's indisposed. Can I get your name and information, and I can request for him to contact back?
Dion Smythe, I give my number.
And what is this room regarding to, Dion?
Just his boss.
Very well. She takes down your information. She thanks you. And is there anything else?
No, not at the moment.
And unfortunately, that seems to be a dead end for you to get the answer from her. She will hang up.
Okay, then in this particular case, I'm going to use Auspex, and I'm going to see how many ores are in the immediate area, see if there's any areas that aren't really being covered. Oh, likewise, look at the security cameras and the like, see if there's any dead ends.
Why don't you do a perception plus alertness?
Okay.
And we'll just put it at 6, but the more successes, the better.
One success.
All right. Looking around, notice. Most of the main area that actually still have workers working at this late hour seems to be on the eastern side of the docks. But with the low amount of light, you're not sure where all the security cameras are.
Let's see. Hold on.
As I said, right now there's just the one guard station. There's a guard in there, and you know that the blue line section, or where their crates are stored, are past that gate. But you probably don't need to necessarily be that close to where the other workers are.
Okay, I'll go scout out to the end where I know the workers aren't at.
You'd still have to get past the guard, the gate.
Okay. What's at the gate?
It's a guard station where you have to, like your typical car has to go through. On either end, he has to raise or lower the gate to get past.
All right. Who here has a dominate?
I'm sorry?
Oh, that's what Dan asked with it. Who here has a dominate?
Excellent question. I would think our Tremere has it.
You think that?
Theo, you're coming a little down from your trip, by the way.
Oh, very nice. Is he coherent enough to understand and speak?
You're starting to get better at you're looking at these docks in the water, and it's hard to determine what's what to a degree at a distance, but you're realizing where you are going on for the most part.
Okay. Then he pulls Mero's arm, and he's like, "Where are we? What is this?"
We are down at the docks. We got we don't deal with prices. We'll put on with people smugglers tonight.
Ooh, we trying to be stowaways? Let's get out of Seattle.
Hopefully not.
Fuck.
Kid, how quick can you sober up?
I don't know. Smack me.
He'll go ahead and straight up slug him in the jaw. I'll do it for you.
Okay. Okay, now the water's looking pink. Are we in Seattle or are we in Portland?
Dion slaps him across the face.
Oh, God! Okay, we're still in Seattle, I'm guessing. Wait.
Yep.
Okay, docks? Alright, oh my God, is that a warship? Bruh. No, there's no way this is Seattle. This must be like fucking Arlington, Virginia.
Oh boy.
Why did we bring him along?
You're the one that brought him along.
Fair point.
Well, what kind of like gate do they have for the vehicle? Is it walled off completely that we can see, or is it just a fence line?
It's a tall fence line. It does have barbed wire around it, so it's not a wall. But the guard station itself, as I said, it looks like there's only got one person in it. He's definitely got those stations, radio kind of thing, and it's got two different lines, so you could theoretically barge through, of course. But it's basically set up for him to lower or raise the gate for people entering and leaving from the two different lanes.
I'm gonna ask. So is it safe to assume we shouldn't kill anyone? I'm asking the group.
Do we want an investigation after the fact?
Well then, I'm going to look outside, and I'm going to actually use my Eyes of the Beast, and I'm going to make a perception check myself to see if I can see around, get a better look, that since I didn't get any information personally.
Okay. Now your car, I'm gonna say, where you're parked, you're like roughly like 30, 40 feet from where that guard station is. You're just right now debating on what to do, correct?
Yes.
All right. Realizing that power might be picked up or seen by any of the guards at the station.
Even inside the vehicle?
From inside the vehicle, it would probably look like two laser lights. So, but it could still be witnessed. I'm just warning you that power is somewhat vulgar and could break the Masquerade.
Well then, I won't do that. Then I guess I'll just look around myself and see if I can notice anything.
Sure. It's perception plus alertness. But you don't have the aspects that Dion has, so I'm going to put it to D7.
Okay, so perception plus alertness.
You could
Okay.
also argue security could be used, but alertness is more appropriate.
Okay, and it's D10s, right?
Yes.
There is a quick roller at the bottom of your sheet, or there should be.
Oh, well, I'm not that... I can just type it in myself. It's not that hard. And difficulty 7?
Yes.
Oh, that did not work. Okay. Oh, I have to do a slash roll, don't I?
Yeah.
That's why I'm just typing.
All right. That's okay.
Actually, first time doing a roll on this thing.
It's a good first roll.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So you look around. You can't see the entirety of this area, but it definitely does have two different sets of cameras that are aimed towards the direction of the guardhouse. So it's well covered, both coming and going trucks, as well as one camera that heads out towards the street, so can a better look at anything approaching. From your perspective, though, further in, they don't have as much security once you're past the gates. And it's not like the entire fence perimeter is covered. there's definite gaps that you can see if somebody was pretty agile, maybe dressed in black clothing, could possibly slip past, get over into the docks. But going through the docks themselves, past that security guard, you're definitely going to be on the CCTV cameras.
And so it seems illogical to be able to sneak up to that security desk and anything like that.
It would be fairly illogical and most likely be still spotted. Or at least they could roll back the footage later and see it, unless you were very good.
So we'll have to do we'll have to find another way to sneak in or do the hide in plain sight thing.
Okay. I'm gonna then look along the fences, see if there's any spots where they've been worn away. Or any holes in them.
Honestly, they wouldn't be very good fences if they had holes in them. Why don't we shift briefly over to Walter?
Sure.
Walter,
Sure. Walter's starting to wish he was there.
Yeah. What you are starting to get closer to the time when you were supposed to be meeting with Lloyd, but you know that friends are off doing the investigation at the docks. Is there anything else that you're digging for or looking at or doing while you're waiting?
It's an interesting question. I mean, if you'd allow it, I'd do more digging on the particular the particulars of the black market human trafficking incident. Perhaps taking a different approach, but I don't think there's anything pressing that he'd want to investigate other than that at the moment.
Okay.
I have an idea.
You may have to, of course, make a few phone calls.
Taking a different approach. He's got a couple contacts in people who know everybody. If he can get make a few phone calls around, see what information he can dig up.
All right. So why don't we just say that you're starting to at least try to get some answers that way?
Yep.
Hear more about what's going on.
And then he'll head off towards his meeting with Loy.
Okay. And then I'll shift back over to the rest of you guys.
Yep.
What's your guys' plan?
Is Theo at least nearing complete sobriety?
Yeah, you're nearing it.
Okay.
If you really want to force it, you can just spend a blood point.
No, I imagine he's I imagine he's probably at the point where because with shrooms you take so much of it, you start tripping. But if you take a microdose, you're just happy, but pretty much coherent. So now he can participate, but he's like a little bit giddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds good.
Right, so Theo asks Meryl again, okay? This is alright. This is feeling pretty cool. I mean, it's talking to some girls, some nice fine ladies at that club, but right, lay it down straight. What are we doing right now? That's you, Michael?
James?
Right. I'm trying to think of what else we can do out on this little scouting thing here.
I have a really wild idea, but I don't know how well it'll do.
What?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I could use my animalism and try to beckon any kind of bird in the area.
That's not wild.
Sure.
Yeah, that is wild. Literally.
Hey, have them attack the cameras. That would be funny.
But the thing is, if I called them, they would fly and, actively come to the vehicle, and that would probably cause a scene, so I'd have to get out and go.
Or better yet, go get some rats.
Oh no, call them to the guards post.
No, I was going to say, call some rats, have them shoot for the wire.
Scouting out the area for what exactly are we doing, Meryl? What's the objective here? James?
Well, main objective here is to shut down people smuggling things. I'm trying to figure out which night exactly that's happening.
Okay.
Actually, are there any, like, push doors, like they only open from one end?
There where you're at the gate? No, not there. So not one there.
Is there a guard outside of that?
There's just the one at the gate inside, like the little booth deal.
They don't have a lot. It's not like it's a full security force.
Yeah.
They just have the one at the gate.
Is the single guard somebody we should worry about?
Yeah, it's a single guard.
Okay. Let's see what I can do here.
So what's the plan? What are you doing?
I'm gonna get outside the car and I'm gonna try to do my beckoning.
All right. Which animal are you trying to attract?
Bird. We are at a dock, so I mean, there's probably a lot of seagulls.
And I'm
That's true.
trying to find a way to take care of the guard using command strength.
That's my point. Is I'm gonna actually try to summon, and if I can get anything, have them maybe just fly around the cameras.
All right. Most birds aren't necessarily as active at night, but you can still do a call out. So if you want to do a charisma plus survival to
Actually, hold on. Creswell, could Walter, since he's a smuggler, could he get us a shipping manifest, like we're here to pick something up?
that could possibly work.
Text Walter.
So should I do this or not?
There might be an easier way in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get rid of the guard. Let me just see what I can think of.
Well, text him, and if we get a shipping manifest, we have a reason to go inside.
That's true. That's true.
That's something I'd be able to do.
I imagine we're
Walter-
communicating between as well.
Walter, with your connections, there is the possibility of you getting them paperwork or a reason to get inside. You could easily forge something or create hey, I've got this thing that needs to be signed or some paperwork. Yeah, it might require still some subterfuge on their part to make it believable. But yeah, that is something that Walter could theoretically do.
Would that require a roll, or is that just something you just can do?
I would require a roll to make it believable.
Sure. What would you want then?
Why don't we do are you trying to use your own company connections, or are you trying to make something false? That looks believable.
I am going to make something that looks believable. I've seen plenty of shipping manifests in my day. I'm just going to take some that have passed across my desk, and I'm literally just going to alter them.
All right.
To
Why don't we do
fit the situation?
Intelligence plus? I would say law might work.
Would my specialty in business contracts apply to this?
Yes.
Nice.
What is the difficulty?
I would like to make it a little, so I'm just going to put it at 7.
7. 5 successes, that's 3 10s, so it's actually 8 successes.
All right, so you actually managed to use you got a name, false names. I take it you managed to make it really believable. With that many successes, probably nobody would really bat too much of an eye out of this manifest. The only other issue is that they still need a company ID to get past the guard, or a truck would be more believable if they just show up this late an hour to do an inspection. It's a little odd.
Well, given your shipping, do you actually have any trucks?
Well, honestly, Theo can conjure up an illusion of a truck. That easy.
Okay.
Sure. You want to try that out?
Yeah, what's the Chimerister roll for that?
Well, ration. He has Chimerister 4, so that means that he can create a moving illusion.
It would have to be moving.
What's that?
It would have to be something that moves.
Right, like a truck. And also, he doesn't have to see it in order for it to continue moving. You did say, however, that they would probably want to inspect the truck or something like that?
No, they just put kind of ID or something to present as well as the shipping manifest.
Just
But
do
they would
the...
open the gate for the truck, though, right?
You would spend 1 blood point, doesn't require any roll.
Nice.
So yeah, you could do that. By spending a blood point, you could make one of the trucks or one of their vehicles appear as a truck.
Yeah. I can go ahead and do that. Is that okay with the rest of the group, though?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
That would open up the gate and allow us to sneak in, though, right?
You'd pretty much be going through the front gate. You realize with Eric's earlier security role, you'll still get onto the cameras when you do, but they don't necessarily have to see your faces.
Yeah.
You would know, although the rest of the players may not know, that the cameras won't show the Chimerister illusion, but the guard will believe it. He'll believe you're a truck and that you've got the shipping manifest with form. He'll probably let you through without much of a hassle.
Alright, the rest of us will stay in the back then.
That's good.
So who's going with Theo, then?
Well, aren't we all just staying in the truck?
Yeah.
We're all going inside of this quote-unquote truck.
Yeah, so you're turning the van of James into a truck?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The illusion also appeals to all 5 senses, so it's real to practically anybody who can see through it with aspects. Practically anybody but those who can see it through it with aspects.
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
You got, this is probably most of your first times actually seeing Chimerister in action. Except for, of course, Theo.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely mine.
So yeah, you would actually see it just sort of the truck appear over the van, and it's definitely a dazzling thing of seeing it just suddenly morph that way so fantastically.
Also, we can handle cameras later. Because this illusion won't show up on the cameras, just to let you know, guys.
Shit, that's right. Well, that's what you go get rest for.
We can get you another van if need be.
It's all right. Let's just get through this.
Yeah, well, you most likely won't have to worry too much because it's only if something suspicious happens with the van or the truck that would be a problem. So yeah, you drive forward with your brand new truck, and the security guard looks like he's in his 50s. This does look a little bit like he's been eating a lot of donuts in his past. Comes forward out of his seat to check over and say, "Hey, not seeing you guys. what's the pass you have with you? You hand him over the pass with that many successes that Walter gave you. He checks it briefly and pretty much says, "All right, which lot?" Are you giving him the blue line lot, or are you giving him a different one?
Give him one next to it.
I will give it. Why don't you do then a manipulation plus subterfuge at 56, or charisma? More of manipulation though.
Let's see, me or
Who's speaking to the security guard?
yeah, who's
I
speaking to
imagine
him?
it's the person driving the truck.
Which would be
Merle.
Merle.
Yep. Go ahead and do that. The manipulation.
Subterfuge.
Alright. What's the ability?
6.
Nice.
There we go.
Yeah. He's not poking into your thing. He says, "Okay, boys," and he lifts the gate for you.
What's your flash, Alex?
And by the way, Theo kind of throws out an entire box of illusionary donuts.
Low-fat donuts.
Oh, and they're all jelly donuts too.
Are you spending blood points on that?
No, that's a joke. I mean, if you want me to.
Correct.
That's great.
No, let's not push our luck.
Yeah.
It's not much luck. It's a joke. Ignore it.
Seriously, if he goes to try to pick those up, he will know something wrong.
I know.
Okay. Moving on. You managed to drive your truck / van. You are lucky that the blue line lot of the area is on the western half of the docks, so not where most of the workers are. Once again, it's fairly quiet at this time of night. There is still a number of lights for the docks. The docks are fairly well lit most of the time, but this area seems to be not having a lot of activity. Blue Line's area is basically does have a padlock on it, but otherwise nothing else. That inside the area of the Blue Line, it sounds like it looks like they have about a dozen crates of stuff. So you guys park your truck nearby?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to see if I can scout with auspex for the entire tanker.
All right, go ahead and give me a with your auspex. I'd like another roll then of perception plus alertness.
Okay. Difficulty 7 or?
Because you have heightened sense stuff, I'm going to put it at 6.
Okay, in which case, with focused mind, it goes down to 4. Nice.
All right, you would notice at least one camera that does view over this area. Not over the entire lot, but at least it looks down this alley area, this road. So if you start picking at the lock or stuff like that, you'd probably be on the camera. but you're not sure. Inside the actual lot itself, as I said, it's got about a dozen crates that are stacked in rows of 3 rows. Most all of them seem pretty secured. Got various different labels on them, but you're not seeing much of other activity.
Are there any ores emanating from any of them?
No.
I relay this information to the others.
Well, this seems like a waste of time.
Well, not a waste of time. I got to scout the place out.
Theo asked, we're securing drugs, I assume.
No, we're not.
Well, then now tell me what we're looking for.
I already told you we're going for people. Look out for people smugglers.
Human traffickers?
Okay, let's see. What's the distance for the other side of the door from what the camera covers?
The camera is on one of the poles. That's as I said, it's like basically a truck lane, and it's roughly about 45 feet from you, from with a view of this lane that does see that entryway of the blue line.
Okay. Okay, then I looked at this. Wait here, gentlemen. Path of Prapati. I'm going to teleport to the other side of the wall.
Ooh, that's cool.
That sounds badass.
I could do better than that.
Let's see, and I'm only using the level 2. Yeah, it's like it's before, and then it's from the clarity of mind. When I get to difficulty 1.
Willpower roll.
Yep. Man, this is nice. I have -2 every rolls, and with my little virtual trade cast something, that's there too. So I'm at 1 difficulty.
Excuse me, how are you doing that again?
Focus mind, for what I did for the whole scene, perfect clarity, it subtracts 2 from all difficulties, and then...
I don't think you can reduce it that way. Thaumaturgy isn't going to be reduced by merits like that.
No, it's focused mind, the final level.
It's not going to reduce the difficulty to 1, though.
Alright, so I can get to 2 then?
What is the focus mind? What does it do?
It has a variety of different things, but in particular, the one perfect character believes it's Zen-like state, clear last for the duration of one scene, or if it's used in combat, however many successes it get. Mutual influence, Thermos suffers a... Let's see... For this period, the Thaumaturgs have difficulties of all actions reduced by 2. Kindred is immune to frenzy and aura shake from all sources, even supernatural triggers.
And that's Thaumaturgy path?
Yeah, Path of Focused Mind.
Alright, did you actually do the roll for that one?
Yeah, I did Focused Mind earlier. Did you see?
No, I didn't see that you did Focus Mind before.
Yeah,
it's up here. It's just a few rolls up.
Yeah. But you cannot reduce the difficulty that low for something.
Oh yeah, then I'll just say it's at 2.
It's going to be higher than 2. What level of path of parting are you using?
Just 2. So.
All right. So normal difficulty would be 5. You're only going to reduce it to difficulty 4. I'm not going to allow thaumaturgy paths to be reduced like that. That's broken.
Okay. All right, then 4. Then in that case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes.
Yeah, you're still going to jump across, but you're not going to reduce the difficulties on jumper like that. That's broken.
Broken as fuck.
Okay. I'm going to the other side, and I'm going to. I'm going to search the crates then.
On our end, is it just going to look like you just puff and vanish?
Pretty much.
So, having some experience with sort of how to transport things in a manner that doesn't get them seen, would I have any knowledge of what they should be looking for to determine whether people were here? I mean, I'd assume they're looking for, feces, urine, signs of food, water, somewhere to store people if they were let out of a crate, and or an area away from the cameras large enough for a crate full of people to fit, and then looking for those signs of human life, I guess.
Actually, side question, do kindred have a sense of smell?
They do, but it's better with aspects, I would say.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess I personally know that, so Walter would definitely know that. Walter will send that in a text, just kind of giving them a guideline of what they should be looking for. An area out of sight of the cameras, large enough for people to fit, maybe parts of a warehouse.
All right, so just so I know what everyone's doing. So on one side of the gate, obviously on the other side, suddenly Dion is on that side. You have your truck parked right outside this gate. Where is James?
Merle's still in the truck. Still in the van truck.
All right, so Merle's staying in the truck. Eric, are you staying in the truck?
I'm still currently in the truck too, since I'm kind of like, what just happened, since I just saw someone disappear in front of me.
Yeah, which probably is surprising you. I mean, you knew that Kindred had powers, but this is probably more than you've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And Theo?
He's probably sticking with his road dog, Merrill. But, I mean, is he needed anywhere else?
Well, Dion's on his own, but that's the choice he made. Her.
Just kicking
you guys
it
are
out.
picking outside in the truck / van.
Mm-hmm.
It's a truck to all 5 senses, so it might as well be a truck.
I just like calling it this truck / van.
It's the Tran.
It's the train.
All right. Dion, why don't you do another one at perception plus alertness?
Okay, difficulty?
I would put it at 7.
Okay, then it's 5. Alright, then that's 2 successes because a 10 counts for 2.
What's your specialty?
It's if you have specialty, the 10. Okay, then it's just 1 success.
For the 10 count as 2 successes. Technically, the one takes out the highest success first.
Alright, then it's just a 6.
Yeah. So you would be aware that there has been some activity that this definitely has been used. Trucks have come, and crates have been moved before. Definitely, you can see a lot of path walking and truck line in this section. As I said, there's a number of crates, and as you're starting to walk around trying to get a better view of stuff, it is long shadows and things like that. Then suddenly you are taken aback as one of the crates suddenly bursts open. And standing in the crate is this large, shadow-like thing with long arms that starts stretching outward. And you realize that whatever this is starting to lunge at you.
All right.
And we will end there.
Ooh.
Actually, real quick, Dan pulls up his phone, takes a picture.
No, sit on Snapchat.
Oh god.
Oh my god, it's either gonna be Eastern Kindred or Hagen Yokai.
It's just like True Blood, the show about vampires where every single episode ends with a cliffhanger.
I was thinking it was a La Sombra thing.
We will find.
We'll find
I
out.
was just thinking, there's Asian people smugglers, monster jumping out of a crate.
Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for Finish the Shadows, Seattle by Night.
Speaking of, the last Dragon Ball Bridge is freaking great.
Yeah.
Alright, this next game should be on September 28th.
Okay.
I don't have any conflicts or anything coming up, so yeah. For tonight's game, we did get a fair, even though we took a little while to get out of the party, I thought everyone was doing very good in-character interaction. So I am going to give 3 XP for tonight.
Fun.
Alright, yeah.
Question, because I forgot to record. How much did you give for the last session? Does anyone remember?
I think it was also
It was also
Yeah.
3.
Oh, it was 3. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna end the stream.
Yeah, go ahead.